This episode of the Wayang Crew Podcast is brought to you by Times Cineplex. Hey guys, it's Kev.
Yo, this is Del.
What's up? This is Naz.
And we are
The Wayang Crew. Oh yeah.
Hey, welcome back everyone to another episode of the Wayang Crew Podcast.
Yoo-hoo.
That's right, we're back, and of course, if this is your first time tuning into the show, it is of course a movie podcast where we talk about all things movies, and of course movies that are playing here in Brunei Darussalam. Today we'll be reviewing a movie we all just watched, which is Rampage, starring The Rock. Stay tuned for that.
It's directed by Brad Payton as well. And it's based on a
Video
game, yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to introduce my co-host for this week. First up, we have Del.
I am here.
What's up?
I am good.
All right. I see you wearing the Wayang Crew shirt. Represent.
Yeah, thanks for getting us the shirts.
I didn't get this memo. Okay.
When I walked up to the cinema and then Kev saw me and I saw him and we're like, yep. We're wearing the same shirt but in a different color.
Yeah.
Representing the Wayang Crew.
Represent the Wayang Crew. Next up, it's our other co-host. It's Naz.
Hello.
Hello, she's back.
I'm back. I'm back.
You're back. All right, so we just watched Rampage. It's a bit later than usual for when we do our recordings, but we just thought we'd get this out there.
Yeah, since it's fresh in our minds.
Fresh in our minds. But first, let's get to the news. Not a lot of news this episode because it's a little early in the week and all the news usually comes out towards the end of the week. But the big news this week is there was a new trailer for Solo, a Star Wars story.
Ah, yes.
Did you guys check that out?
It got
Yes.
me excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yep, they've done it right this time.
They have rekindled that Star Wars
Exactly.
The Star Wars-ness of it.
ness, the fandomness inside us.
Yep, I've
Yeah.
lost that spark, but after watching this,
Like,
I'm back.
it's right.
It's back, baby.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
ready.
I love how I think Lando will steal this show.
I know.
Right?
Like, even though in the poster, he's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
This isn't a Solo movie. This is a Lando movie.
If it goes well, we might get one.
I'm very curious to see where this movie goes. I mean, the soundtrack for this trailer was, I don't know, it just got me going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bow.
It's very different.
You see a lot of like shots at the hip of his blaster.
Yeah. It's got that sleazy vibe. I like it. Yeah.
That's the second week in a row that you've mentioned something dirty / gritty and now sleazy.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. But yeah, we're excited to see this. This is coming out in May. Worldwide release for 25th of May. We'll probably get it a little bit earlier here, but we'll be
Yeah.
sure to get a review of that. And Tibi might be back for this episode.
Oh yeah, that's
Tips.
right.
Of
Right,
this.
it's this one.
Can't
Yeah,
wait.
and he should be because this is his number one movie
Yep.
for 2018. But
Oh,
we shall
is
see.
it?
We shall see. Did you guys check out the trailer of this movie that's coming out called The Meg?
Yes, I
Yep.
just did. I'm pretty excited
Yeah,
for
we
it.
talked about this movie. I think maybe 5 shows ago.
Maybe.
There was some news about a big shark movie starring
Yeah.
Jason Statham, and I was like, yeah, I mean, if it's a modern day Jaws or Deep Blue Sea, we mentioned
Yeah.
Deep Blue
Yeah.
Sea.
Yeah.
Bring it on. But we do get to see this Megalodon, which is nicknamed the Meg
Yeah.
for this movie.
I'm excited.
They-
Megalodons
they-
are awesome.
They titled it wrong. If they titled it the Megalodon,
Yeah.
that would be more exciting.
It would
than
be,
the Meg.
the Meg. This is like,
What is
Meg?
Meg?
From Family Guy?
Yeah.
Shut up, Meg!
Oh, yeah. I just recall. Shut up, Meg.
I like the first half of the trailer.
Yes.
Because it's like you're stuck in that station,
Yeah.
underwater station. I don't know what it's called,
Yeah.
and it felt more like a thriller. But then things went to the beach, and
And then the
looked-
music changed.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
action.
Yeah, all
Jason
action-
Statham action movie, but
Actionified.
underwater.
to Frank Sinatra's Under the Sea.
Yeah.
Somewhere over the sea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. This is another movie, and this is becoming a thing now. It's set in China once again.
Whoa.
And we see a lot of China actors and actresses
This
that are
one?
that are part of the cast. Yeah, the Meg.
Meg. Oh.
There's that scene at the beach. That's apparently in China.
Oh, okay.
And apparently that research facility, we see it in the trailer on the map. It's like just off the coast of China.
Okay.
Well, which part of China?
Yeah, I've never seen a beach like that.
That should not be the South China Sea.
I think this is Hollywood playing up to that market because they
Yeah.
fairly realize. I mean, they've got in their heads that if you want to make the movie profitable, you hearken
The Asian market.
Yeah, to that demographic, to
Yeah.
China.
And then if they're not targeting US anymore, so they're aiming for China.
because come on, there a lot of apocalyptic stuff happens in the US. You gotta move to another country now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not everything bad happens in US.
Yeah,
That's
come
true.
on, guys.
Here's something apocalyptic in its own right. One of the stars of Deadpool, what's his name? He's a comedian. T.J. Miller, sorry.
TJ.
Oh, him.
T.J.
yeah.
Miller, who's also in, various other movies. He was in Cloverfield.
Ready Player One.
His voice was
Ready
in,
Ready Player One. He's not on this season of Silicon Valley. apparently.
The new one coming out. The one that just finished, he was there until the very end.
Yeah, but then the new season.
He's not.
He's not
yeah,
there.
He's
So
written off.
He's written off. He got arrested. The FBI arrested him for reporting a false bomb threat.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
no.
why would you do
So here's what happened.
For
Apparently,
research, he's a stand-up.
apparently he had some gigs, some stand-up comedy gigs in Canada, and he was taking a train back down to the US. I don't know where he was or where he was going, but reports are saying that he was intoxicated and he had an altercation. He had an argument with a woman on the train. So he called the local police department and said that there's someone here that looks suspicious. She keeps looking at her bag, yada yada yada. And when they pulled to the next station, the law enforcement officials came on and arrested her and searched the train, and the whole train stopped. He's denying it. He's saying, I really saw her doing this and that and this and that. But you have other witnesses, other people on the train now saying, no, he got on the train. He was clearly intoxicated. He was
Right.
under the influence of something. And he argued with this woman. And this is just him trying to get payback and causing trouble for her. So, yeah, the FBI is investigating this and he's been arrested.
Oh man, this does not bode well for
No.
his movies.
It really doesn't. I mean, he had that one movie. The biggest movie I can think of that he was in was Transformers 4.
Right.
He
He was only in the first
The first act, and then he died. He was
Yeah.
solidified. Well, good luck to you, T.J. Miller. I mean, I'm a fan of your work, but
I am. He's he was a voice for Disney as well, Big Hero 6.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was. He was the.
This does not bode well for his
I
career.
know. His father was Stan Lee.
Yeah. Oh no.
All right. Wonder Woman 2. We're excited for
Ooh.
that. I want to see where the story takes Diana Prince. We'll be using IMAX cameras for selected sequences.
Fight scenes.
And maybe some panning shots of
Yeah.
the mascara.
Oh, I'm excited for Themyscira.
Why?
No, I love the Themyscira.
Oh, okay.
She
Scenes.
believes she belongs there.
I am actually
Right.
from there, guys. Just saying.
I mean, we've got IMAX back in the news. More recently, they're touting 26% more
Yep.
of frame for Avengers Infinity War. I mean, I just wish we had an IMAX theater closer to home
I know.
that we could check out. I mean, the closest one we have is
Singapore.
Singapore. I mean, a good
Even
one.
KK. Wait, KK has?
Yeah,
Does
no?
KK have one? I don't think they do.
Otherwise, we'd be going there.
Oh,
Yeah, I would.
KK.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I can't recall.
Don't remember.
I don't want to give the wrong information.
All right.
Yeah.
More on DC. Anyone excited for a Batgirl movie?
No.
No.
'Cause-
Who?
Because we've talked about this. Joss Whedon was attached to the project, apparently. And then
Oh,
he's...
no. No, it's focus on Marvel.
So he subsequently left the Batgirl movie.
okay.
But now they have a new writer. He's also the writer for the Transformers spin-off movie Bumblebee.
Yep.
Well, not he, sorry. She.
Oh, okay.
It's
no
a
wonder.
she.
No
Women
wonder.
can be writers too.
Yeah.
Christina Hodson.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Who's asking for a Batgirl movie?
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, possibly.
But
Just
who-
Warner Brothers.
Kai,
Which-
is it you?
Which fans? I'm not looking for a Batgirl movie.
I was excited when it was Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Because I like his take on female characters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
then after the whole conspiracy theory about how Warner Brothers announced that he's attached to the Batgirl just so that they can bring him in to rewrite and reshoot Justice League and then kick him off.
You mean it was like a catfish game?
It was like, no, there's this conspiracy
Oh,
theory
okay.
going around.
So it's a theory.
Yeah. Saying that it was a stunt just so they can bring in...
Just to get him in the door.
Just to get him in the door first and then get him to reshoot the Justice League and
Oh my
then that's
goodness.
it. That's why he gave that statement about, I realized after weeks working on it that I couldn't come up with a script.
Ah, which was the diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like taking the hit
All
for
right.
Warner Brothers.
Ah. Get your act together, Warner Brothers. More on Warner Brothers and the DC universe. We just saw this guy on the big screen, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Black Adam apparently is targeting a 2019 production date.
Oh, and they want him. To
He's already signed up for the role.
he's gonna be Black Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has been Black Adam for the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look at the size of his arm.
No, I mean seriously. No. They've announced it on stage of a Comic-Con or something.
Oh, okay.
But this was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and nothing materialized.
Nothing has happened yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But apparently they're going to start production
Oh yeah,
sometime
it's already
next year.
on Wiki, played by Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, so they've booked him indefinitely
Yeah.
until the role materializes.
That's cool.
Where do you think The Rock's career is going? Because I think...
It's going everywhere. He's just everywhere.
Because we just watched Rampage.
Yeah.
And it seems that he's everywhere. He has a movie coming out this July,
Yep.
which is Skyscraper, another movie. I think it's set in Hong Kong.
I'm not sure.
Probably also another movie that's pandering to the Chinese market.
Yeah.
I think he's got maybe another 5 years left in him. He's just trying to maximize his time.
If you look at Tom Cruise and how old he already is,
Yeah.
The Rock is not
Nearly
Not as
yeah.
old.
not as old.
I'm
so
not
he
there
still
yet.
he can still go on.
He's in his
Look at the
40s,
size of his arm.
Yeah.
he's got a lot of juice in him.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we keep saying this. And it'll become apparent later on in the review of Rampage. Last bit of news. Who's a Toy Story fan?
Sure.
Yeah, Disney confirms that
Worse.
Disney confirms that there will be a Toy Story 4 and they've given a release date of June 21st, 2019. So we've got about a bit over a year to go for the next installment in the Toy Story series. When we last left them, it was Toy Story 3 and
Yeah.
Andy is giving away all his
Yeah,
toys.
and that was like a good ending for
Yeah,
me. Like
I
that
cried.
was like touching.
Yeah.
Yeah, super touching.
Yeah,
That was like
that should have
represent-
been the end.
Yeah, it was like a representative of,
Yep.
for us to move on as
Yeah.
well. But Disney doesn't want to move on.
But then there's a new girl, the girl who he gives
Yeah,
the toys to.
so she's growing up as well.
No.
I have no idea.
Hand me down, guys.
We
hand me down.
We shall see. So that's the news this week on this episode of the Wayang Crew. It's a little bit light this week because it's the midweek when we're recording this, so we don't have a lot, but we'll pick that back up in the next couple of weeks, maybe?
Maybe because we'll be away.
Some of
We've
us will be
pre-recorded
away.
some stuff already.
Yes.
Plus, we do have giveaways.
Yes, we do have giveaways.
Would you like to tell our listeners
I
what
would.
the giveaways?
Right. Let me see if I got this down. We have a giveaway in conjunction with Avengers Infinity War, where we will be giving away an exclusive goodie, which is, well, for now, it is the Avengers keychain, which was an exclusive given away by Time Cineplex for people who got their tickets for Avengers Infinity War early.
And it's worth to note that they are not selling these
Yes.
goodies.
So this is really exclusive.
Merchandise are
Yeah.
really, they're not selling it. You can't buy them. You
Very
can only win
exclusive.
them. So we managed to get one keychain
to be given away to a lucky listener.
For
Yeah.
you guys.
And we're going to do this by maybe a competition. So what we advise you to do is to follow us on our social media, more specifically Instagram. Okay, look for us on The Wayang Crew. That's our handle. And we'll be posting up updates on how you can win this and, a photo of the actual item that you will win.
Yep.
So that's coming this week. But do stay tuned as we will be announcing the winners on the Avengers Infinity War review episode, which is slated for the end of this month, 28th April, I guess, 28th, 29th.
Yep.
Yep, so that's after we watch Avengers Infinity War. So if you'd like to get in touch with us here on the show, you can do so via our Gmail account. That's thewayangcrew@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You may be listening to us already on YouTube, and we have, 6 new outlets.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got
6.
That's
6
right.
outlets. So we've
When
got
you say 6, what
6.
are they?
All right. 1, iTunes Podcast. 2, Google Play Music. 3, SoundCloud. 4, Spotify. 5,
Wow.
TuneIn Radio.
Okay.
And 6, iHeart Radio.
All right.
Amazing. listening.
Yeah, so do catch us there. Just search for us, The Wayang Crew or The Wayang Crew Podcast. We're also on all your favorite podcast apps. So now we're going to move on to the next bit of this show, which is our review of Rampage.
Woo!
Starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah,
He's
directed
dropped-
by Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he's dropped the whole The Rock thing, huh?
No, he's Dwayne Johnson. No.
Dwayne Johnson.
For the movies, he's Dwayne Johnson.
All right.
Yeah.
For the fans, he's still The Rock.
Yeah,
He's
for
still
the
The Rock.
for the
He's the
fans.
people's champ.
He's
Yeah,
the-
he still does that eyebrow thing.
Yeah, the whole
he's
smoldering thing.
Smoldering the
Yeah.
eyebrow.
That's the people's eyebrow.
Yeah.
the people's
It's-
iPhone.
And also the people's elbow. Anyway, so we just watched Rampage.
I love it.
You have to watch the trailer to know what this movie is about. Essentially what it is, it's big gorilla, big wolf, and big crocodile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alligator.
Mutated and then
Shall we do a non-spoiler and then spoiler?
Yeah.
Or shall we just
Okay.
go
Non-spoiler,
straight to
yeah.
spoiler?
No, let's start off. Just
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So it's like 3 mutated animals rampaging through Chicago.
Yes.
And it's based on the arcade game, which is like 3 animals rampaging through a city, climbing up buildings.
Never played it, but okay.
I stopped playing it, but I
But
don't
you've
know.
played it.
Yeah, it's just mindless fun, which is
mindless.
for me what the movie was. Mindless
Okay,
fun.
mindless fun.
Yeah.
Is it advisable for people to watch this to go in and just turn their brain off and just
Yeah.
accept whatever's coming?
Just accept it, guys.
from the screen.
Just accept it.
Yeah, because if you don't, then you won't understand what the movie is about. Because every time they try to explain things, I don't understand.
Okay,
I understood all the explanation. I was like,
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I couldn't get it. All the exposition when Naomi Harris, who plays a doctor, a scientist, one of the scientists who created the pathogen for this mutation, and she tries to explain to The Rock, and I'm like, I don't understand what she's talking about.
I kind of get
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got the fictional
Yeah.
science they were talking
Right.
I
about.
mean, this was like if you lifted some dialogue from Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how they're talking about DNA and this
Yeah.
and they take these traits from this animal and that
Yeah.
animal.
I got it.
So yeah, I got it. So to give you guys a quick brief on what this movie is, essentially what has happened is that there is this company that was doing experiments and they've come up with this way of unleashing certain traits or amplifying certain traits in animals.
Yeah.
Right? And did they explain why they wanted to do that?
Oh, apparently it was to weaponize them.
No, initially it was just like an experiment to kind of enhance certain abilities,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
But then this evil company, what's it called? Energene?
Yeah.
Energy.
Wanted to weaponize the experiments gone wrong.
As they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
By
Okay.
this genius scientist,
Right.
Dr. Kate Cadwell.
Oh.
What did you
Yeah,
think
I
of-
didn't get it.
Yeah. What did you think of The Rock's performance?
It's The Rock.
No. Oh,
The
my
Rock is
God.
being The Rock. He
Yeah.
plays
Yeah.
Davis Okoye.
Yeah, he's a primatologist. He's best friends with this albino gorilla in the movie.
Yeah.
Who is the main character, I guess.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
And what were we talking about?
I just asked, what do you think of The Rock's performance?
Okay, I've seen better performances. This
Sure.
one is quite cringy.
I think The Rock is just being The Rock.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like being The Rock on the wrestling stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much acting
Yeah.
is required.
Yeah.
Same goes to his co-star Jeffrey Dean Morgan,
Who's also in this movie.
essentially playing
The guy
Negan
from
The Walking Dead.
Yeah, The Walking Dead.
just with a different name and a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
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 Just without a baseball bat.
It's hilarious. You guys should watch it.
Yeah. I had fun watching this.
Yeah, it was mindless fun. I loved it.
There were obviously problems with this movie. I mean, if you were to look at it practically, a lot of things would not have worked. But then, you just sit there and you go
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm just here for the ride. I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm not going to argue with this.
It was fun. It was really fun. You guys
It
should
was
check
fun.
it out.
All right, we'll move into spoilers.
Oh, yeah, spoiler
Wait,
alert.
Hold on.
Whoa.
You going to say something?
No.
Oh, no, okay,
All
sorry.
right. After the spoiler alert. After
Spoiler
this, you've been warned.
You've been warned, okay? After this, it's all spoilers. This movie.
Right. This movie. Oh. Script-wise, I didn't like it, but it worked out anyway because it
Yeah.
was done by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Okay?
Yeah.
Everything that he says is, I
Like-
guess,
Cringy.
But it
for
comes
me.
out okay when it comes out of him.
Because exactly. Like for me, the first half of the movie, I was like so focused on it. Like, okay, the science of it, like all this dangerous stuff. But then the moment he went like, think about his arms.
Yeah.
These arms are big.
don't fight
Don't
it.
fight it. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I went to like him getting on a helicopter. I'm like, oh no, how are they gonna fly the helicopter? And then she's like, do you know how to fly the helicopter? Of course he knows how to fly a helicopter. He's from San Andreas.
So this movie is unbelievably convenient. Like everything is laid out, and everything is laid out so conveniently for the main protagonist, which is The Rock. And it makes his job so much easier.
Yeah, because he was in the military before this.
Again, that's a spoiler. Del, do you have anything to say?
The bad guys in this movie are the most stupidest
bad guys ever.
Because they have no idea what they're doing.
They are siblings too.
Yeah. I mean, it's not their fault because it's how the script has been written for them.
Yeah.
But then they look so stupid because they... Like, the biggest thing about how silly this movie is that they use their building, which has a tower on top. That tower emits a frequency which attracts the three monsters to them.
Because apparently they designed it in the DNA.
Yeah. And we see the monsters moving towards the city, but it takes them a while, right? But why are they still inside the building as the monsters are approaching?
Yeah.
So when they were about to take off from the roof, where the antenna was, where the monsters were supposed to go and destroy it, that's where they want to take off from.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I don't like how the script is written because everything just had to fit into the plot whereby...
But it's ridiculously fun.
Ridiculously fun.
I don't know about that.
Convenient for the good guys as well.
Yeah. Everyone just went there.
Yeah. No, Jeffrey Dean Morgan walks into the building. Conveniently, the bad guy... brings the rat and evidence for the FBI down the stairs. And he's like, I was just gonna go up the stairs, but you went down the stairs. And then it's like, can I have the laptop? Oh, maybe I'll have the rat too.
If anything, this movie is a classic example of convenient plot points.
Yeah.
Everything just happens just to move the story along so that whoever's involved in that scene or that particular character does not have to work that hard to move the story along. And like I said in the non-spoiler segment of this review, this is mindless fun. This is something that you can sit down.
It's beautiful.
I mean, go with a bunch of friends who are like-minded to you, and you're gonna have fun because you're gonna laugh together.
Yeah.
You're all gonna cringe at the same lines.
Yeah.
You're all gonna go, "Oh, okay, that's what a Moab is."
That's what a Moab is.
And the funny thing is, like, they released the Moab without the general's orders
or the president's orders.
Yeah.
Like, they were about to destroy this city, Chicago.
Okay, in case we're rambling a little bit for this movie, it's probably because it's called Rampage, so we're on a rampage.
We're on a rampage.
But just to reiterate how ridiculous this story actually is, it's a company that has designed a pathogen that gives... How do I say this? Like certain growth factors.
It mutates animals.
It mutates these.
They call it DNA editing.
Yeah, DNA editing. So
that's the only scientific term that I've remembered from the whole thing. So everything else I didn't understand.
So they couldn't do the research on Earth, so they had to do it in space. And when we're introduced into the story, the space station is about to go up in flames because apparently they unleashed it on a rat, and now this rat is the size of a lion, I guess.
Yeah.
Or bigger.
So it's wreaking havoc on the space station, and the scientist/astronaut is ordered to bring back the samples of that pathogen down to Earth.
Yeah.
And so she does. She brings 3 samples, and these are the 3 samples that end up crashing at different places, on Earth. One in that zoo,
in America.
Yeah, one in that zoo, the San Diego Wildlife Zoo, where George, the
albino gorilla
is, who's also conveniently The Rock's friend.
Yeah, best friend.
One lands in like a desert area where there are wolves.
It's still within that vicinity of Chicago.
No,
it's
San
outskirts
Diego?
of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Outskirts.
San Diego.
Because then that's how they
Yeah.
were able to rampage the city.
And then the third one lands in a swamp.
South America, was it?
I'm
No.
not sure.
No.
The
It was still-
Everglades, Florida.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, like because I saw Everglades.
Oh no, because alligator, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then
Sure, let's go with that.
let's go with that.
Yeah.
So these 3 animals experience sudden growth, and then the company, which is Energene, tries to salvage the containers, and then they're unsuccessful, and they realize that the pathogen is now out.
Yeah.
And they end up having to follow news reports of like 30-foot wolves and I don't know.
Gorillas. No, the alligator was last. They didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
They only knew.
Well,
about
we did, but
Yeah, we did, but they didn't
But
expect.
not them.
Yeah. But what we did not expect was the wolf grew spikes on its body.
And get this, It had wings. It was glorious.
Yeah,
The
wings.
moment the wolf jumped up the building, then jumped towards the camera,
Yeah.
flapped his wings, I was
Yeah.
like, oh my
That
God.
was a fly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why they would put that DNA or that trait into the pathogen for
Like
it to grow
squirrel?
like it looked like a flying squirrel, and it was stupid
It was glorious.
but glorious at the same
I
time.
was like, this is gold, guys. This is the golden hour.
I'm
don't-
just curious to know if they have a line of toys that are coming out
Sure, why not?
based
Yeah.
because everything would be sharp and spiky.
No, that's not for kids under 5 years old.
No, it's not.
Why was everything spiked?
I don't know.
What were they thinking in the first place?
Why was George not spiked?
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
That's a very good question.
true.
Does it not
That's
affect?
Because
Does it not affect primates the same way?
the wolf and
I
the,
love how you're going scientific with this.
the wolf and the alligator they mutated more.
Yeah, they grew
Yeah,
spikes.
yeah.
And
They
the
grew spikes.
alligator was like
They grew
massive.
flaps and
Yeah.
this and that, and wings.
The alligator reminds me of the little toxic dinosaur in Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Dilophosaurus.
yeah.
It just didn't. It would be cool if it spat acid.
No.
That would be so
No.
cool.
Anything's
Kill all the
possible in this movie.
Yeah.
Here's something that I will give the movie props for. The CGI, the effects in this,
CGI was great.
They're good.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved
they,
it.
they spent money where
they
should
should,
have.
yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Which is the CGI, and things look good. There was never an instance where I looked at it and went, "That doesn't look
Yeah.
very
Oh,
real."
it
That's
was
true.
great. I
Yeah.
loved
The monsters all look realistic.
Okay,
Yeah.
shall we do ratings?
Okay.
All right.
Rating, okay.
Del, what do you give Rampage?
I will give it 5 spikes out of 10.
5. All right.
Right.
That's an average rating, but still go and watch it. Naz?
I give it an 8. Yeah.
You'll give it an 8.
Yeah. No. I laughed my
you
head
really
off.
love this.
Yeah, I
Okay.
laughed my head off. All the convenient stuff in it.
Right.
All the cheesy lines. I was like, yeah, this is a great family movie. I'm gonna watch it again.
Okay, I'm gonna split you guys right down the middle and give this a 6.5 Georges out of 10.
George.
Because I think that there are some plot holes, there are some things that
there was
don't
a
make
lot
sense
of
in this
plot
movie.
holes, actually.
But it's the whole Fast and Furious syndrome where
Yeah.
you know there's gonna be something wrong with it,
Yeah.
but you still enjoy it,
Yeah.
just for the sake of enjoying it. So yeah, do head over to your local cinemas. We watch it at Time Cineplex, and I had a great time there, so you guys should too. Yeah, so now we're gonna move on. Okay, this episode is episode 8 of our Road to Infinity War series, our MCU Recap, and we have 2 weeks to go before Avengers Infinity War. It is now, of course, somewhere around the middle of April, if this goes out correct. Today we're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Spiderman Homecoming. Woo! Yeah, alright, so let's get the ball rolling with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This movie came out as a sequel to the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, obviously.
Yep.
It came out in April of 2017. And yeah, we pick up with the Guardians after the first movie. What did you think? Yeah.
This one, it picked up not long after the first one.
Yeah.
So now they are kind of like a contract cleaners
And
to
they're like,
help.
yeah, and they're like famous.
Yeah, kind of famous, borderline. Baby Groot has grown a little bit, not in a flower pot anymore.
He's not a twig.
He's not a twig.
He now has legs.
Yeah, and he's dancing around in the beginning of the movie. Which...
And I have to say, he's a bit of an imbecile, this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not...
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Baby Groot.
Yeah,
either.
he's not quick.
Oh, I mean, he's
he's
never
a
been
babe.
quick in the first one.
Yeah.
It's just
Remember how
I don't know.
Remember how in the first one he went for the thing that they needed to take?
Yes.
In
the
in
battery.
the prison.
They
Yeah.
need to remove the battery, and
That was hilarious.
Okay.
But this one, it opened up with an action sequence which I thought was okay. I liked. They always have a good opening credit, like kind of different from the usual movie opening credits. So this one was Groot dancing around and
The rest of the Guardians fighting in the background.
yeah.
With
and-
that
and-
monster that they have been contracted to
Yep.
kill.
I'm just waiting for the title of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 to come out on screen, and it fills up like almost completely as well.
Yep.
That's like the signature for Guardians now. So I am also looking forward to the third one for that happening, because when that happens, it's kind of like my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the first one, which with Star-Lord dancing at the bottom. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And this one was a good follow-up.
Okay, so in terms of follow-up, this expands the story of the Guardians of the Galaxy side of the MCU. We are introduced, of course, in the trailers to Star-Lord's father,
Kurt Russell.
played by Kurt Russell as Ego, the Living Planet. And there is a big twist in this movie. Ego is not really who he makes himself out to be.
Yeah.
He is actually evil. Naz, what did you think of this sort of portrayal of Ego, the Living Planet?
I didn't like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't know. Maybe because he claimed to be a celestial, but that's not what a celestial is supposed to be.
As in, in the comics.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I didn't like it.
You didn't like it.
Yeah, but I did think that it was very crafty, like the way they made him evil.
Yeah, they laid it nicely.
Yeah.
They put him out as like, oh, I'm a father searching for my son. And I finally
it
found
was
you.
pretty good.
And then towards the third half of the movie, it's sort of revealed. Also, third quarter of the movie, it's revealed that he has other intentions.
Yeah, especially like when there were bones underground. Whoa.
Okay. Nikkei.
Okay, I don't find this as good as the first one, Volume 1.
Really?
Yeah, because like my favorite character from Volume 1 is Drax the Destroyer.
Yep.
And I didn't like him in Volume 2 at all.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because the reason he was like the underdog and everyone loved in the first one, because he was funny, but he was not an intentional funny character.
Yeah.
Then because of that, people like him for being that comic relief guy that is not intentional.
Yeah.
So then they make him into a really comic relief guy character in this character, and
Yeah.
it totally just ruined the whole character.
They sort of really pushed it. And
Yeah,
then-
it's like
Yeah.
just shoving in our throat.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
You didn't like it. Okay.
Yeah.
What about, let's talk about I can't remember the name now, but the Ravages. Yeah.
Taser face.
Taser
Taser face.
Yeah, Taserface, which was a weird name. Apparently, he's from the comics, and he looks totally different from what I can gather in the comics. But in this movie, there is a mutiny. Yondu's character, played by Michael Rooker, is sort of, relinquished of his authority over the Ravages because he's given too much slack to Star-Lord.
He's got a soft spot.
Yeah, he's got a soft spot. And we see why towards the end of the movie.
We actually saw that in the first movie as well. Like
Did
there's some kind
ending,
of
right?
Yeah, there's something like a connection which is different from the other Ravagers.
Yeah.
It's like he's got a favorite Ravager.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would ask Kai what he thought about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but...
I feel like the Guardians guarded the galaxy quite well. This is their second adventure, and I thought rocketed our expectations. Gamora should be called Good Mora because she was really good. Star-Lord reigned in the film. And
this movie
was
this movie was so Groot. I mean, great.
yeah, just they guarded it so well. Okay, so here's the reason why I'm in the spotlight right now. It's because I've not seen the film.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because in my first day at Los Angeles, it was a Guardians of the Galaxy red carpet premiere.
Whoa. Okay.
And I found it to be... it was very surreal to be in Hollywood. So, you guys know this song, I've Got This Feeling.
Yeah.
That is the main soundtrack for Guardians. So, I was in Hollywood Walk of Fame that day, and I heard the song, and I thought, oh, of course they would play the song. Turns out, they closed down the road in front of the Dolby Theater to have the red carpet premiere. And it was so surreal because when I was at the line going into the Dolby, I was told by a guard there not to take pictures or record anything, and I promised not to. But upon hearing Chris Pratt's voice, I turned to my right, and I saw Chris Pratt about 20 feet away. Naturally, my instinct was to take out a phone.
Yeah.
And I got shooed away from that side.
Because what else would you do?
Yeah, right? And then I went to, long story short, that didn't involve me breaking the law. I had an opportunity to probably try and go inside the red carpet.
Okay.
At a price which I thought I wasn't going to pay. And I did not end up going in.
Oh.
So a few weeks later, I think, or a few months later, I remember being given a digital copy of the film through legal means, obviously.
Yeah, from the Blu-ray.
No. There was a thing where I was part of a testing crowd while I was still in America.
That's cool.
Where I could watch a digital copy of the film for 24 hours or something like that.
Like a survey thing?
I think it was supposed to test this new platform.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And then when I played the film, I remember going in about 11 minutes and 40 something seconds into the film. This was when Groot was dancing.
Yeah.
He was dancing and there was a monster being destroyed in the background, and I think there was Queen Aisha
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought this whole movie was like, what is going on?
Wow, okay,
Where
okay.
is the head? Why are we getting Guardians 1 again? Which was
We
sad.
are not. We didn't.
Ah,
get
okay,
Guardians
Del.
one.
So
Calm
you
down.
felt that it was more of a rehash rather
No,
than a
because
sequel.
I don't see the bickering anymore. They already gelled as a group.
Yeah.
I didn't see the point of the bickering in the beginning.
Ah.
You know? I was like, wait, they already went through something that changed them.
Yeah, but they have to play up this whole dysfunctional team thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that's
but there's only
Kai,
so
we've
much.
known each other for a while. We're still bickering.
You're just mean, Del. Which is a shame because I saw the opening scene with CGI Kurt Russell.
Yep.
In the 70s.
Yep.
Or 80s.
yeah, they
seven-
de-aged him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was one of the best CGI works ever.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
But I've been told by other people that I really should rewatch this
Yeah,
movie.
you should.
Yeah, you should.
Okay, very quickly for the listeners, because we haven't actually done the plot of this movie yet. Ego, the Living Planet, has been going around the universe for maybe a millennia, planting little seeds of his own planet. And he has been on the constant search trying to find another Celestial, which, he tries to get by way of having an offspring. And up to this point, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, has been unsuccessful. And we find out that Michael Rooker's character, Yondu, has been the one who has been going around the various worlds in the universe and collecting his offspring to see if they can carry the load of being a Celestial for them to conquer the universe. And it turns out that Peter Quill is the only one out of these possibly thousands of offspring to be able to, wield that power. And we see it very briefly in the movie. But then again, if you haven't watched it, this is your fault. Spoiler alert. Ego, the Living Planet, dies. And
I genuinely did not know that.
and
Because if he said he's a Celestial, then...
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's not a Celestial.
Yeah.
Okay. So by the end of the movie, he dies and everything's good again, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then it gave us one of the best ending to a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Because if you want to talk about heart, there's
It's
so much
So
heart.
much feel.
It made me
Yeah,
cry.
made me cry.
I was sitting in a theater
too.
in Bangkok,
Yeah.
watching it on a nice big 4K cinema, and I cried.
I do
Yeah,
as well.
just Drax asking over and over, "Where is Peter?"
Yeah, where's Peter?
My goodness,
Yeah.
got to me. Yeah,
Yeah, so Kai, you should watch it. Because
and also-
Kai's just looking at us like,
Yeah,
you guys are
actually-
weird.
It
Yeah.
gives a whole new meaning to Cat Stevens' father and son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Kai's face is just saying, you guys cried in a Marvel movie? What is wrong with you?
In Kai's... Kai shouldn't say so much. At the end of Captain America, Kai was a mess. There's our pen. Peggy. Steve loved you.
and we were also introduced to a lot of more Ravages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot more
So-
Ravages.
Stallone.
So is Sylvester Stallone in the film?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm definitely watching
They
it.
were the
Michelle
original.
Yeoh.
The original Guardians, was it?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. Because I don't know if you guys know, Yondu was one of the original Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. So yeah, Kai, watch it.
Yeah, I will.
And,
I give this movie...
Sure. And to you guys out there, if you haven't watched it yet, you should, because Infinity War is just, less than 2 weeks away, so you need to catch up. Really, you do.
Just throwing it out there, I think only recently somebody discovered that there is a scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 which showed the destruction of Thanos' home planet.
Really?
Yes. Somebody on Instagram posted a footage from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I don't know the context of the scene.
Yeah, okay.
But they were seeing the powers of the Infinity Stones, I think, if there was such a scene. And it was the destruction of Titan, which was the homeworld of Thanos.
Okay, I'll
Did somebody just freeze a frame and then said that's Titan?
No, it's because...
Is it like planting a flag on like a mountain
No, I
top?
think it's because they juxtaposed it against scenes from the Infinity War trailer. And they showed the landscape. They're like, this is
okay.
Titan in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, this is Titan in Infinity War.
Okay, we shall see, because Infinity War is not long to go, less than 2 weeks. So that concludes our recap of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Up next, moving up the ladder of the MCU. This one's a bit of a tricky one because it's the first movie where Marvel and Sony work together. We're going to be talking about Spiderman Homecoming.
Woo! Why am I using I was excited.
She's the only one.
Spider-Man fan says woof.
Okay, this was one of the better movies, I think, of 2017 as well.
Really?
I liked it.
Loved it.
I liked it.
I loved it.
It had a lot of
No,
heart.
I was just wondering, are you a Spider-Man fan?
Okay.
It was meh.
Okay, for this movie, because it is Tom Holland and he's one of the big pull factors for this movie. Let's ask the girls first.
Okay.
Let's start with Naz.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you want?
What did you think of Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man?
I loved it. I think out of the three Spider-Mans,
Tobey
I think,
Maguire, Andrew
Tobey,
Garfield,
Andrew-
and
yeah, I thought he balanced it out. He was a good Peter, and he was a really good Spidey.
Yeah.
Like, for me, Andrew Garfield was a good Spidey, but a terrible Peter.
He was too cool.
Yeah.
Gwen.
Yeah.
Gwen.
Wake up. Okay.
Yeah, too
Anyway.
cool.
Oh,
And
that
then,
scene is so sad. How can you make fun of that?
yeah, it was kind of sad. And then Tobey's he was a good Peter.
Day by day.
Spider-Man was okay. He was
Okay.
okay. But, like, for me, Tom Holland was, like, woo, the best.
So Tom Holland for you is Peter Parker
Yeah.
/ Spider-Man. You know,
Yeah.
there's no one that they could find that would have played it better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he does, like, the stunts as well.
His own stuff, like the
Yeah.
flips and whatnot,
Yeah,
because
so I love
he's a
Acrobat.
he,
Yeah.
no, he does ballet. He does ballet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay. Nikkei.
I still think Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker. Tom Holland's a good Spider-Man, but he's not a good Peter Parker because I still think he's cool. I'm not really a big fan of Homecoming because Flash is the one getting bullied by Peter Parker.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like that.
That's true.
This
Oh,
doesn't
that's
make
true.
sense.
So you want to see Spider-Man being
Get
bullied?
bullied.
I grew up reading Spider-Man and like
Yeah.
on the newspaper comic strip and like the animation
Yeah.
series. Like it's one of my favorite Marvel
Series,
heroes.
yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm very familiar with it. So like the every characters in the Spider-Man universe is almost like DC. Like everyone knows every single like side characters. Like who's Mary
Yeah.
Jane, Aunt Man,
Yeah.
Uncle Ben, everybody. Homecoming is just like Zendaya. Like what
Oh,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
And Flash
Yeah.
is like, oh, like what? Flash is like a loser there.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and like the nerds are the cool kids in school.
Which we are now. Sorry.
I know, but it's just not like it doesn't feel like. And Aunt May doesn't seem poor at all. Like she's living so well. She's having free food. Like, and then it's like,
I mean, I understand the free food part.
yeah, and
I
like,
would give a free
well, I know, but like she's not suffering, and then it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
and
that's
she'll
true, that's
like,
true.
oh, like there's one scene where Peter Parker's like, oh, I need another backpack. Like this is your 7th backpack. Like money is not an issue. She can just buy as many backpacks for Peter Parker.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like this little things that really
Okay,
bugs me.
so you have your issues with this movie. Let's move on to Kai, Spider-Man Homecoming.
I echo almost everything that Nikkei has said because Peter Parker is one of those characters that was never glorified in his alter ego. Like Tony Stark was an industrialist.
Yep.
Donald Blake was a medical doctor who was Thor's alter ego. Stephen Rogers was the poster boy for the war. But Peter Parker has been dragged to the gutter his entire life. So there's 3 things you need to give Peter Parker. He has to suffer, he has to get bullied, and he has to learn a lesson.
Okay.
In every story. I don't think he got bullied enough.
Yeah.
For one, he's hanging out with the Avengers.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, so that's why so I thought they would play that dynamic whereby he's kind of cocky to the point where he'll make a fatal mistake. We never got that. We never got that learning curve where he says, okay, I screwed up. Because with Tobey Maguire's one, it was very simple. He didn't stop the robber from robbing the wrestler, wrestling manager, and Uncle Ben got shot. Andrew Garfield threw a hissy fit at Uncle Ben, and Uncle Ben died.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
like, so there's not that moment of regret, and I really was hoping it would be when he tries to he ignores this, you know, the sandwich shop got
Yep.
it
Oh,
blew
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Because it was across the road from the bank.
Yeah, I really hoped that the person running the shop would have met his end. So Peter would have learned, oh,
That would have
this
served
is
as
the
like
price.
a character catalyst for
Yeah.
him to say,
Yeah.
This is the price of recklessness.
Okay.
I thought, okay, fine. Maybe during the boat scene, somebody will die and Tony will say, "You're not fit to be an Avenger. That's why you never got the call."
Okay.
You know, but it just doesn't hit you. And when he goes at the end and he's shown the Iron Spider suit, he goes, I'm looking out for the small guy.
Yeah.
Where did you learn that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know? But I do say this film had some really good action sequences.
Yep.
Fantastic. And I think the twist with Michael Keaton's character was really well done.
Yeah. Well, okay. Moving on from that, let's talk about the villain in this movie, Vulture.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. Michael Keaton, of course, very famously was a big name
Batman.
actor in the 70s and the 80s. You know, did a bit of comedy stuff, and then he took the role of Batman in 1989.
Yeah.
And before the movie came out, everyone was saying that, you know,
Oh no, not Beetlejuice, not
not
Mr.
Beetlejuice,
Mom.
not this guy. He's a funny guy. What is he doing playing Batman? And Batman came out.
And it broke everything.
And it broke everything, and it changed everyone's minds. And then he had a bit of a hiatus, you know, in terms of his career.
Yeah.
He wasn't in a lot of big movies, and then that all changed a couple of years ago when he came back back.
In the other guys.
As RoboCop.
No, before that. The other
before
guys.
that, yeah.
Birdman?
The other guys.
No, before that.
Yeah,
the
before
other
that.
guys was his first commercial box office film.
Big movie
Yeah.
with big name actors. And then since then, he's sort of become like a quote-unquote man actor. So you had Batman, and then he did really well in the
Birdman.
indie film Birdman, and now he's the Vulture, I guess so, in Spider-Man.
And he's been in Birdman and Spotlight back to back were Oscar favorites.
Yeah.
And he was the common factor. He was in both films.
Plus, he did that McDonald's story.
Oh, the founder.
Yeah,
Amazing.
the founder.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That,
Please finish your sentence.
That what?
oh, no. I was going to say he got snubbed at the Oscars.
Oh, yeah, something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming. Of course, we don't see anyone else besides Spider-Man and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because Tony Stark is his mentor at this point
But
after
we
the
have
events.
Captain America.
Yes.
Ah, okay. What did you guys think of how this movie came about? Because of, the complications of the properties being with two different studios. You have Marvel, who own the Avengers, and you have Sony, who owns the rights to Spider-Man and the supporting characters. But this is the first movie where they sort of came together and said, you know what? We did something in Civil War. Spider-Man's in that. Let's sort of make a solo movie. Marvel stepping up saying, we'll help you.
I think I was online on Facebook the minute they announced Spider-Man was coming to the Marvel Universe, because I remember I was about to have a meal and then I was on my phone and then Marvel Studios Facebook page just said Spider-Man is joining the Marvel Cinematic
The MCU,
Universe. Yeah, and it said 42 seconds ago. And immediately I tweeted and IG'd it. And I remember thinking this opens up the possibilities so much more, because I think this was right after Amazing Spider-Man 2 failed at the box office.
Yeah.
Deservedly so. And there were just a lot of this hacks happening behind the scenes with the Sony emails and
this is when the interview was hacked out.
yes,
And
and so I think it was in these correspondences between the studio executives that Marvel realized they don't have a plan for Spider-Man, because there was plans for a CG movie like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Okay.
There were plans for this, but there was nothing solid, and I think that's when Marvel Studios took the opportunity. Personally, I would have been okay without a solo Spider-Man movie, because I think his cameo in Civil War almost stole the show.
Yeah.
For
No,
me.
you said on that episode it did steal the show. Yeah.
But now in hindsight, it doesn't have an impact, because now he's got a second Homecoming film coming out.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
So
a sequel,
I was like, I would have been okay with him just appearing in all the crossovers.
Okay.
Like
I could have
Bruce
lived.
Banner.
Yeah, I could have lived
yeah,
with that.
as like a secondary
You could have,
character.
but Sony would like to make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Because at the end of the day, it's all about money.
Yeah.
That's what we think of these two movies, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming. Yep, so if you're wondering, we pre-recorded that segment because we just had to.
Yes.
Because we are flying off.
Well, I wasn't going to
Yeah.
say that, but
okay.
I think I
Right.
said it in the recording.
Oh, right.
But yeah. So
Okay.
we're going to move on to the next bit of the show now, which is a segment which we like to call...
Oi, apa liat-liat? Apa liat-liat? Hoi, 看什么看？
Apa liat dia?
你看什么看？
Apa liat-liat? See what see? 笑了。
Yep, it's Liat Liat, which is what else we've been watching besides Rampage this week. Della, what have you been watching?
I have been reading the book Ready Player One.
Ooh.
Because of the movie, which I didn't find satisfactory. So that's why I went to the book instead. But the book is totally different from the movie. Why I'm bringing up the book is because in the first gate, we went into a movie called War Games.
Okay.
Which was released in the 80s. And I went to watch it again because it had a lot to do for the first gate. And the movie still held up. It was about a AI kind of thing. But back in the 80s, AI is much more simpler.
Yeah.
But the concept of it still holds. So the movie itself is still watchable to this day, and it was starring Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he was really young, like younger than when he was in the Ferris
Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's really interesting and to see the kind of concept that they had back in the 80s, which still applies to today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It was,
okay, quick question. Do you prefer the movie Ready Player One or the book?
Oh. Because when I'm reading the book now, I'm thinking of Ready Player One's characters and how they look. But the book describes them totally differently, even though it's written by the same guy.
Okay.
I would say, I think I'll go with the book instead. The
book.
book is
Of
much more
course.
interesting.
Of course, always.
Yeah.
Always.
The first meeting between Artemis and Parzival was much better in the book.
That is why he fell in love with her.
You can feel it in the book.
Oh.
Yeah, you can feel it.
You can feel the love in the book.
Yeah. I
Alright.
guess.
Interesting.
It makes sense then.
Yeah.
Or it made more sense.
He didn't blurt out "I love you" in the first or second meeting.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Because it's a book and you can take your time.
Yeah,
flipping
exactly,
the pages.
How long
Yeah.
did you finish the book?
I'm still reading. I'm like 80% in.
Okay.
And I don't want to spoil anything, so I wouldn't say anything more. But 80%. I'm going to finish it soon. So I've been reading for the last 3 days, I think.
Okay, that's good.
I think I'll check the book out too, but
Yeah.
I'll cheat. I'll have an audiobook. All right, Naz, apa liat? What have you been watching?
Nothing interesting. Just Friends season 1 so far.
Back on Friends?
Yeah, I'm back on Friends.
All right.
No, I went like a few seasons, seasons I liked, and then I thought maybe I'll start from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, so I stopped at the episode 13, I think, where Chandler's like, "This is a rock and a hard place. I'm in the middle."
There's that first episode which will always get me. It's like, I just want to be married again. Ross says that and he goes, and then Rachel walks in with a wedding dress.
Yeah.
And Chandler goes, and I just want $1 million.
Chandler has the best sarcastic lines.
Yeah. Love
Matthew
Chandler.
Perry. Yeah. I checked out Annihilation
Oh yeah.
this
yeah.
past couple of days. I understand the hype as to why a lot of the online reviewers were saying that it's a movie that you have to watch on a big screen to fully appreciate. I totally agree. Yes, with the right surround sound setup, there are things that they place in terms of sound design which helps bring the atmosphere out. The story of Annihilation is that there's the shimmer that appears and it's apparently growing, and the lead protagonist has to go in there as part of an investigation team to find out what's in there. And I have to be perfectly honest, I felt that the movie did not pay off.
That's what a lot of the online reviews say.
There was very good setup, but the ending of it was a little bit let down. If you want to check it out for yourself, you can do so on Netflix. It is now showing on Netflix.
Yep.
But again, I do agree with what everyone else is saying, that you do have to watch it on a bigger screen, just because I would assume that if this was on a small screen, like your living room TV, it wouldn't have the same effect. Yeah. Okay.
Sad.
Okay, so that's the show this week.
Okay.
Next week we will be back, but it will again be a pre-recorded episode and a shorter one because we're all not here. Thanks to Del and Naz for joining me on this late recording session, and we'll see you the next time. Bye.